What's up, everybody? We are officially a little more than 2 months past the Bowman 2023 release. I'm going to take a look at some of the winners and losers as far as single card prices. We're going to use first base autos, and again, these are total with shipping comps. I pulled some comps on May 3rd, so when you see release, that's going to be the date for those comps when I pulled the average. I tried to wait a week after release to kind of get all the high ones, weeded out. So when you see the release prices, those are going to be as of May 3rd. So it has been a full 2 months since then. We're going to take a look at who's gone up and down in dollar value the most, as well as the percentages. And then we'll kind of take a look at what that means and what the buying strategy should be going forward. All right, we're going to start off with the biggest losers. We're going to do it in dollar value. I'm going to put the percentages down at the bottom because some guys, as you'll find out, the only way to be the highest in dollars lost is if your card was expensive to begin with. So I'll kind of give you some more data down at the bottom so that you can kind of judge it percentage-wise as well. But number 10, Hao-Yu Lee from the Philadelphia Phillies. Upon release, his card was about $81 for a base auto, which was 9th overall, and his current base auto goes for about $48.65, which puts him about 13th overall. Not a big drop. He only dropped 4 spots as far as overall ranking. But the $32 drop is 53rd out of 62. You'll see going forward when I use 62, there were 62 hitters with first Bowman auto whose auto was doing $15 or higher after a couple weeks. After that, there's actually like 82 or 83 of them, but once you get down into the guys that are $4 or $5, their values, none of them went up and down drastically, obviously. So I kind of cut it off at $15 base autos. So there are 62 of those guys. So when you see the ranking out of 62, that's what that is. And you'll see Hao-Yu Lee is down 40.2%, which is 27th out of the 62. So it's kind of middle of the pack. He's not down a ton. Like I said, a lot of these guys, the dollar value is down a lot because they were just expensive upon release. And you'll see more of that as we go on here. 9th overall for biggest losers is going to be Edouard Julien, $75.42 upon release, which was the 11th highest. It's currently $36.22, which is the 18th highest. So he has dropped 7 spots overall in the rankings, down $39.20, and his percentage change is 52%, which ranks 41st out of 62. Again, another guy, he's in the MLB, he's playing well. But again, his cards were pretty expensive on release. You see the 41st in percentage change. It's the bottom half, but it's not too bad. Some of these guys, as you'll see, were down a little bit more. Number 8, Jacob Berry of the Marlins. On release, $69.75 for a base auto, which was the 12th highest on release. His base auto is now $26.14, which is 24th overall. That 12 drop in ranking spots is one of the worst in the entire release. There's a couple other guys that dropped that many spots. You'll see as we go up here. That was a $43 loss on a base auto and a 62.5% lost, which is also about 10th worst. Number 7, Lazaro Montes. On release, $109.83 for a base auto, which was 8th overall, currently $51.68, which is 12th overall. Just like Hao-Yu Lee, only dropped about 4 ranking spots, so I'm not too worried. 52.9% change, not great. He didn't really light the world on fire when he came out this year, but a lot of these guys are still young. I wouldn't really be worried too much about their drop. Another one, same thing, Josue de Paula, he actually got promoted, and his cards are still down. $135 on release was 7th overall, currently $66.21. So you'll see he actually only, as far as against the other players in this release, dropped 1 spot, but he did lose $68.79 on his base auto, which was a 51% loss, which was 39th out of the 62. Number 5 going to be Justin Crawford, $144.12 on release, which was 6th overall. Currently a $73 card, which is still 6th overall. So he hasn't, gone up or down as far as where he ranks in the release. But again, you're losing $70 since release on that base auto. which is going to be the fifth worst. He's down 49.1%, which is 35th, so he's kind of middle of the road in percentage-wise, but again, because that initial value was so high, the dollars lost kind of racks up there. Number 4, Cam Collier, $152.50 on release, fifth overall, currently $81.59, another one. He's the same way. He is not going up or down as far as where he ranks in the product. You're just seeing, as products have been released for a month or two, people start, losing the hype on the product and prices go down. You're going to see there's a few more on here that are the same way. Cam Collier, $70.91 lost, which again is the fourth worst. He's only down 46.5%, which I say only. It's kind of middle of the road for all the hitters in this product. Number 3, Spencer Jones, release day $276.33, second highest. He's currently at $180.95, which is third highest. So he went down one spot, but lost $95, almost $100. You lost if you bought his. It's a redemption, but if you bought his base redemption at release, and he's playing well, and you're down $100, 34.5% negative percent. That change isn't too bad. Like you see, 22nd at 62. Shockingly, being down 34% puts you in kind of like the upper third in this release because everything's down so bad. But we're going to keep going into the final two. This is probably, some of these guys are down a lot in dollars, but their percentage isn't that bad. This is probably, from the release, one of the, I don't want to say worst chases, but when you look at Matt Mervis of the Cubs, it was $169.67. He had the fourth highest card price. His base auto is currently going less than $38, which is 16th overall. Like Jacob Berry, that is a 12-spot drop in the rankings. You'll actually see Matt Mervis is second in dollar change, down $131, but he's actually first in percentage change. His cards are down 77.6%, which is the worst of any prospect in this release. It's just bad. He came up and he played, the timing on his cards was kind of tough. He got called up as the product was coming out, so, the call-up hype was in that release price, and then obviously he struggled and has been sent down. But this one's just a killer for sure. And number 1, Druw Jones. $477 his base auto was going for, and it's currently an $188 card. Again, he only went from first overall to second overall, but you lost almost $300 on his base auto, which is by far the worst. Like I said, some of these guys are priced so high that they don't have anywhere to go but down on the release. His cards are down 60.6%, which again is, like 12th worst, 13th worst. So not ideal. So just a couple notes here. If you look back, of the 10 most expensive prospects on release week, all 10 of them have gone down in price. And that even includes Junior Caminero. He wasn't on there because he actually is only down like a couple dollars. He's down 6.7%. But even him, you think about the fact that he's been like the hottest name in baseball since this release. And the fact that he's still down should kind of show you how inflated these single prices are when these cards drop. But no more of the losers. We're going to go into the exciting part. Let's do the biggest dollar winners. Number 9, I wanted to do a top 10, but there's actually not 10 players in this entire release whose cards have gone up in value. So we're going to start at 9 with Moises Ballesteros of the Cubs. It was a $21.78 card on release, which was 38th overall. It's currently $24.66, which is 26th overall. He moved 12 spots in the overall rankings. Again, the card's only up $3, and that's still top 10 in the product. Gain of 13.2%, which is also 9th. Number 8, another Cub, Jefferson Rojas, $21.42 on release, which is 39th overall. They kind of hover together around the same price. Currently a $26 card, which is 25th overall. He is up 14 ranking spots. Again, change of less than $5, but he's up, which is half the battle, up 21.5%, which is 7th overall. Number 7, one of my favorite prospects, Carlos Jorge. I had him 7th in my chase rankings that I posted. I was higher on him than most people. He was a $48.50 base auto on release, which was 19th overall. It's now a $55 card, which puts him at 11th overall. That is a change of 8 spots in the rankings. Again, only up $6.51, but that's the 7th best, and being up 13.4% is the 8th best of any prospect in this release. Number 6, Jorge Ruiz. He's having a great season in low A. He just turned 19. He's been kind of popular as he's been playing well. His cards, he was very cheap on release. I said there was only 62 guys with base autos over $15 on release. He was 61st overall. He barely made the cut. And his base auto is now over $22, which is 28th overall. He's the biggest riser in the product as far as prospect spots. Going from 61st to 28th is a change of 33 spots, which is the biggest climb that you're going to see in this product. Again, the dollar value only up $7, but the 44.5% increase is good for 4th. Number 5, Austin Charles, another guy, same kind of thing. He was looking good in the complex league, just, real athletic build. Gets promoted to low A, gets kind of a bump. He's been hitting the ball pretty well, and people are excited about him. He wasn't too sought after in the release, 36th overall. He's now 21st overall in base auto price, which is up 15 spots. His base auto is up about $7, which is the 5th highest, and he's up 32.4%, which is the 6th best. Number 4, Dominic Canzone, Arizona Diamondbacks, $19 card upon release, now about a $27 card. That's good enough to bring him from 45th overall to 23rd overall, which is a change of 22 spots. He is up on a base auto $8.36, which again is the 4th best, and 43.8%, which is good for 5th best. Now we get into 3 of my favorites. Number 3, Michael Arroyo of the Seattle Mariners. He was 14th overall in my chase rankings that I posted. Again, kind of like Carlos Ruiz, another guy that a lot of people weren't super high on. I felt like I was higher on him than a lot of people, but he came out and was just lighting it up, and he got a very early promotion. His card prices are going up a ton right now. His base auto was $38 on release, which put him as about the 25th overall prospect in this set. His current base auto is going for $56.42, which now makes him top 10 in this product. Ranking change of 15 spots. The base auto is up $18.42. Which is a 48.5% gain, which again is 3rd best in the product. Number 2, my guy, another guy that I was much higher on than most people. He was my 8th overall chase in this product. What he's doing right now in high A is, I think he's exceeding everyone's expectations. As you'll see, he was a $65 base auto on release, which was 14th overall. His base auto is now over $100 as of today and yesterday. He's now the 4th most expensive prospect in this class. I believe so you have Junior Caminero 1, Druw Jones is still 2, Spencer Jones is 3, and then it's Roman Anthony. After the big 3, he's the next guy now. You'll see a dollar change of $41.07, which is a 62.9% gain, which again is 2nd of all the prospects in this product. And number 1, Hector Rodriguez of the Reds. This guy is on fire. Part of the thing with him is that, Roman Anthony was still a top 15, chase in the first week. Hector Rodriguez is more of a guy who came out of nowhere, which has led to, his increase being, much higher than the rest of these guys. He was the 34th most expensive product on release week with a $23 base auto. His base auto is now over $71. He is the 7th most expensive prospect in this product currently. He went up 27 ranking spots. Again, a change of $48 and a 202% gain, which is, he just blows everyone else out of the water. He's if you bought into him early, he's been rewarding some people. I have a couple of his cards, nothing crazy, but he's definitely been the most exciting prospect as far as how far he's been able to climb since this product came out. And it's crazy. I didn't even have him in my top 25. So, I hit on Jorge and Roman Anthony, and I'd like to say I could hit on Hector Rodriguez, but he was off my radar, but he's been great so far. All right, now when you look at the biggest winners, Carlos Jorge and Roman Anthony are the only prospects who were top 20 in the release week that have gone up at all in value. Everyone else that's gone up was kind of buried. And you see Hector Rodriguez and Roman Anthony are the only players in the entire release. That would be out of, the 62 guys that I looked at, 62 hitters. Those are the only two players in the entire release that have had a base auto go up by more than $20. So here's kind of a final thoughts. If you look at the losers, the tough thing about Bowman is that everyone wants to chase the big names. But as you can see, there's almost no value in chasing the big names. All of the top 10 for who's down the most money are essentially just the guys who were the top 10 chases in the product, with the exception of Junior Caminero. And even him, like I said, he's lighting the world on fire, and he's still down a few bucks. So there's almost no opportunity if you're chasing the top guys in this product on release week. There's almost no opportunities to make money, no matter how good they are. I don't think Junior Caminero could have been better since release than he is now, and you're still not making money on his cards. The name of the game is finding value. You find those guys that are ranked 30th, 40th on release week. Those are the guys that have the chances of going up, if they can go up at all. But the main point is when to buy. The answer is not on release. If you look at all the numbers, you saw that, I put in the last notes that Hector Rodriguez and Roman Anthony were the only prospects whose base auto went up $20 in the last 2 months. Do you know how many went down more than $20? About 20 of them. Not only that, but you had, 10 players go down more than $50. So the fact that the peak, if you're buying your cards, buying singles on release week, the peak that you can expect is the card going up about $20. But if you're chasing the big names, you're losing. Druw Jones is down $290. Matt Mervis down $130. It's just, there's not a world where it's worth it to buy singles in this product when they come out. Even the guys like Roman Anthony, I got a couple of them early, and it's nice to be in early on those guys. But when you think about the fact that no matter how good they do, that they're up, max $40 from release, it's just not worth it considering how much you could lose, as you saw with a lot of those guys. So the biggest thing, like I always tell everyone, is kind of do your research. There's not a lot of good outlets out there to do Bowman Chase rankings. There's a couple. I only saw a few videos on YouTube, a couple people on Twitter that do true rankings, and a few of them are pretty helpful. But read those. Find someone that you trust and read those, because that's the biggest thing. If you don't know anything about prospects and you come out and someone tells you, you got to buy this Matt Mervis card when it comes out. You got to buy Druw Jones. It's bad advice, and you got to do your research. You got to know what guys. I was not on Hector Rodriguez top 25, but if you looked at Hector Rodriguez's numbers from last year, it's not a surprise that he's as good as he is. It's a surprise that the power went up, but Carlos Jorge is another guy. If you had looked at some of these guys' stats last year, it's not as easy as going on MLB.com and being like, oh, well, this guy's MLB.com says this guy's a top 5 prospect for his organization. I think these guys like Carlos Jorge and Hector Rodriguez, because they're buried on their team's prospect list, no one's buying their cards. You got to do your own research. You got to look at, some data, look at some statistics, find some guys that you like. And like I said, that sweet spot tends to be outside the top 20 if you're buying in release week. Anything inside that, anyone ranked higher than that, the hype that's built in is so high. I would advise staying away from pretty much all of those players. And if you need some help with that, shameless plug here, if you go over to scoutthestatline.com, I've put out what is called a hobby advantage tool with the help of some friends of mine on Twitter. It has real-time rankings, the prospect rankings. They update daily, and you'll see their peak MLB projections per 600 plate appearances, and all that data updates on its own. You'll find which product you can find their first autos in. You will also find how much their first base auto costs you, And based on a combination of the prospect rankings and the dollar value, it'll give you a buy-sell index that you can actually rank, you can sort it, and it'll tell you which prospects are currently buys at their price based on their projections as a player. I've never seen anything like it. It's kind of a, state of the art. We're the first people who have made one of these as far as I know. So go over there and check it out. And even if you don't, and if you like other people's prospect rankings, that's fine. Just make sure that you do your research, because as you can see, there's a lot of money that could be lost in this. But I would say that the main takeaway from this is just don't buy singles on release week. You can kind of wait. Even if you wait like a month, I waited a month until Hector Rodriguez and Roman Anthony started looking good to buy, and you're still getting in, very low on those guys. It's just not worth trying to buy at the same time as everybody else. So do your research, main takeaway, and don't buy singles on Bowman release week. That's kind of the main point that we found here. Thanks again, everyone, for checking it out. If you have any questions, feel free to @ me on Twitter @BigBobsCards. Until next time.